Good evening, Schuco and Tin Toy fans. This is the Tin Meister, and today we're going to look at one of Schuco's last toys, like we did last week. This week we're talking about the Schuco Mercedes C111. It was made from 1970 to 1975, and of course, Schuco went bankrupt in 1976. So as Schuco was struggling to stay solvent during the early 70s, it was competing against other toy manufacturers who were making much more realistic toys than Schuco had done in the past, and they were making them out of plastic, where Schuco had always made their toys out of metal. So the Schuco Mercedes 111 had some interesting features. It had lights in the front that would pop up and turn on. It was battery operated, and it would go forward and reverse. So here's the front of the car with the lights down, and here it is with the lights popped up. There's no battery in, so the lights aren't on. I put some batteries in, and this is what happens. The lights will go on when you pull those pop-up headlights up. And several cars that were contemporary with the C111 had those pop-up lights, like the Porsche 914 and 928. So here we are with a Mercedes Benz Series 1 C111. It was made in 1970. It had a 3-rotor Wankel motor that made 280 horsepower, and it could go 260 kilometers per hour, which was about 162 miles per hour. And that's, a lot of those facts are on the bottom of the car. That's what it says there next to the Schuco logo. There's the battery compartment. You lift up the rear of the car, and the batteries, the C-cell batteries, would go in there. 2 C-cell batteries. And here is that little lever. See the lever there we're focusing in on? You pull that up or you push it down to turn on or turn off the lights. And here's the interior, fairly realistic. And there are the Continental Schuco tires and special wheels with the Mercedes logo. Now here is an actual Mercedes Benz C111. C11, how many ones are there? There's 3 ones. The Mercedes 111, if you want to look and see more information, check out the Mercedes website. It has some great information on the C111. There's the Series 1 car that the Schuco toy is based on. Note the wheels are a little bit different. So here's the box that the Schuco Mercedes 111 would come in. Now there's a side. It's showing where the battery compartment is and how the lights go on. And here's the bottom of the box, shows how the gull wing doors work and the lights would come on. And there's some instructions on how to operate the toy. And I don't think that the toy actually came with other instructions. I don't think there was a piece of paper inside that had instructions in it. I can't see it in any of my literature where it has that. Here's the end panel for the Mercedes 111. And here's the other side. It's actually a white, but I don't think Mercedes ever made one in white. Possibly they did, but I know Schuco did not. So we're going to show you how it comes apart. So here is the Schuco C111 apart. It only takes 3 sheet metal screws to take it apart, and there's no gluing or anything of that nature. This little piece in the front and the bottom of the chassis controls the lights when you pull the pop-up headlights up. Those contacts will make those lights go on. And here's the rear with a switch that makes it go in forward, reverse, or neutral. Well, it's forward, reverse, or off. And the motor, a pretty powerful little motor. There it is from the other side. And we need to be careful when we put the car back together that the little tabs that operate the headlights fit nicely into that little item. Here's the body. And here's the bottom of where the lights operate. And there's the little steel rod that you push back and forth to make it lights go up and down, pop up and down. And And there's the one position of those lights. See where the rod is, and now you can see the rod has been pushed in, and that pushes the lights up and turns them on. So let's take a closer look at the car when it's apart. There is the contacts that hit the lights and make them go on, and the rod that actuates the light, the pop-ups, and there's the dash. The dash and a couple other parts of the car are not glued in, they just are in little slots, and you can see on the left I'm sliding the dash into a slot, and the same thing on the right. See, I'm just pointing to it there. It goes into a little slot. And then we take the actuator rod for the lights and pull it back through. And then we've got the rear bumper, which has some plastic lights in it, and those plastic lights can fall out if they're not held in place by the body. So, but again, it's not glued in. You just have to push them in their correct holes there. So the body's ready. Now we take a look at the chassis. And there is the motor, and notice that the wheel can go up and down. When the wheel is down and the car is picked up, it doesn't touch the motor, so it doesn't spin the wheels. But when you push it up, then it hits that little rotating part of the motor, a little rubber part of the motor sticking out, and it'll make the car go forward and back. And there's the switch that goes either forward, reverse, or off. And that's how the steering is actuated. And you'll notice how when we had the motor on before, that it was pretty loud. So just in a moment after this, I took the car over to the bench. I put a drop of oil on each end of the motor, and it really quieted it down. So there are the three sheet metal screws that hold the car together. That's all there are, just three screws. Very easy to take apart. Great for the beginning collector to work on their Schuco car if you were going to get one of these, because it's only 3 screws and it's pretty easy to work on. Here's the box, colorful box. One of the last boxes made by Schuco or designed by Schuco. As we said, Schuco went out of business in 1976. Although, you know, Schuco has been taken over by various companies since then, but the original Schuco company was bankrupt in '76, and this is one of the last toys they made, as we mentioned earlier. So there are the instructions, how to operate the car, and there are various languages on the Schuco box. And there's that white Mercedes C111, which I don't think Schuco ever made of that. I think they only made orange ones. The only one I've ever seen in any literature or anywhere is just an orange one. So here we are, and we're going to take a look at how we can replace the light bulb. In case the light bulb goes out, there are little doors you kind of slide over. See that? You can slide over. I'll use my thumbnail and pull that other one over. And it just turns around on a rivet, stays in place, and you take out that light bulb. Not easy with my little fingernails to get that out of there, but there's one. And it's that small light bulb. A lot of times, if they don't work correctly, put a little sandpaper on the end of the bulb there, and maybe a little file, and clean up those contacts, and it should come right on. Those bulbs last a long time. And then you put it right back on, twist it on, it pops right on. Pretty clever, as always from Schuco. So here we are, and we're going to put oil in that little orifice there, and that end of the motor too, both ends of the motor, and when you turn it on, it's much quieter. Doesn't take much oil, just a little drop. And I always use Tri-Flow, which I've shown you guys before in various other videos. So let's try it out. There's the bottom, there's the on-off switch. the forward, reverse, and off. And we can steer the car here. The car actually goes pretty fast, so I'm going to have to chase after it with my hand and not let it go run off the table. There it goes. And it accelerates away pretty quick. It's a pretty strong motor. Considering this toy was built way back in the day, 1970s, it really goes great. It's in great shape. And you can find these on eBay for not that much money. I think if some of them are like $150 or something like that, maybe $200. And if you can find one in great shape like this one, it's really worth collecting. I mean, it's one of the last ones that Schuco ever made. It maybe doesn't have the charm of those early metal cars, but it is really a historic car for Schuco because it's one of the last ones they made. And a lot of them didn't get played with very much, so I don't think this one hardly got played with at all because this car goes pretty fast. And if you let that car go and hit the wall or something, hit a piece of furniture, it would probably break that front end. And there's the lights on, popping up like a Porsche 914 or Porsche 928. And here it comes at you. Pretty quick. If I just let that go on the floor, it would be moving right along. And let's see, I pull the lights off, close the door, gullwing door, get the wheel straight, and there she goes. Notice that the wheels don't turn unless it's on the ground or on the floor. And there you are. That's the Schuco Mercedes C111 experimental car. So, Schuco and Tin Toy fans, I have a request. I would like you to tell me what you'd like to see in the future of the Tin Meister's videos. So fans, I really would like your input on what we should do in future videos from the Tin Meister. Would you like to see more of the Schuco boats or airplanes? More cars, more figures, motorcycles, other Schuco toys? Or would you like to see some Dissler, J&F, Gescher cars, or the Gilbert James Bond 007? Cars, Japanese cars, French tin toys, American tin toys? Or do you like the videos we do on restoring or repairing our cars? Would you like to see more history of Schuco and other manufacturers? There's a lot of things we could, directions we could take, and I'd really like to help you guys learn about all these tin toys that I have such a love for. Another thing we can do, another option would be we could do a live session. If you had a specific toy or it doesn't have to be a Schuco toy, it could be a Dissler toy or whatever, that we could talk about and how we could restore it or where it came from. That would be great. For instance, I just repaired a Technofix toy, a motorcycle, for a friend and client of mine. That could be something we could have done on a live video. So, in the meantime, please give me your comments. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and consider subscribing, of course. So this is the Tin Meister. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a great evening.